Happy Friday, everyone. And that means it is Full Disclosure Friday. All right, this week's question comes in the form of a personal one. Did you always want to become a paralegal? And if not, what was your other aspirations in life? Full disclosure, I actually wanted to be a backup dancer for Janet Jackson, and my backup to that was to be a fly girl on In Living Color. Now, I am in my 40s, and so you're either going, shut the front door, or what the hell are those things in Living Color? So I loved watching In Living Color growing up because there were fly girls, and Jennifer Lopez was one of those fly girls. And the reason really why I watched every single week was to watch the fly girls, because I studied dance most of my life in one way, shape, or form, mostly contemporary jazz and hip hop. But I got introduced to that hip hop because every Saturday morning I would watch dance shows. I mean, back in the 80s, there was Dance Party USA, there was Solid Gold, and there was Soul Train. I watched a lot of Soul Train because Soul Train introduced me to hip hop. And the more I watched all of these different shows, the more dance moves, that I learned, because when I was really, really young, my parents couldn't afford to put me in a dance class. We were like dirt poor at that time, and there was no way that they could afford to put me into a class. There was no community classes in the area that I was. So the only thing that I had was watching people on television. And so watching all of those channels and trying to mimic those moves, I mean, I was like, heck yeah, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Favorite movies growing up were Staying Alive and Finola Hughes. Oh my gosh, if you don't know who she is, Finola Hughes, I absolutely idolized her growing up. Staying Alive is one of my favorite movies of all time. But of course, there was Footloose, there was Dirty Dancing. I mean, there was all of those, dance movies that I watched growing up. And my very first concert that I ever went to was the Dirty Dancing tour. And then I saw Thriller and the making of Thriller. And I remember playing it over and over and over again and just memorizing every single move. And then I've always been a huge Janet Jackson fan. So Rhythm Nation, one of the best albums ever. And she put out If. And when I saw the making of that tour, If, I saw the making of the video and what they went through for that tour, I was like, holy crap. People actually do this for a living. They tour with artists and they do this for a living. And that's it. Like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so that's what I focused on for a lot of years, and contemporary jazz and hip hop, and just, learning technique and moves and dance. And when Janet Jackson was holding auditions for the Velvet Rope tour, that's when, I finally became eligible to actually audition for her. Actually, I was only 17 at the time, but I was emancipated, living on my own. Whole nother story. But I was eligible to audition, and she was going on tour in 98. And so I didn't because I ended up working in law. I ended up getting a job as a receptionist in a law firm in a very, very, very busy personal injury workers' compensation law firm. And really, the rest is history. But that was it. That was really, that's what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until about 3 years in working in the legal industry that I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to college to be a lawyer. At the time I was a political science major, and I will say growing up, it was always, told to me that I needed to choose a profession that, was solid and was going to make me money. And I remember going to a community college with my stepmom as she was enrolling in that community college. And at the time, you had to stand in line in like this huge auditorium or gym. And that's how you enrolled in all of your classes. And then you got your books at the same time and stuff, at least where she went to college. And I remember seeing the dance line and there was like nobody, hardly anybody in that line. And I was like, oh my God, that's the line you should be in. That's the line I want to go in. I was like, why isn't anybody in that line? And she was like, because you can't make any money dancing. And so it was just, really always talked about, the fact that I needed to choose a profession that made money. Now, I will say that when I chose to work for a law firm, they weren't exactly thrilled about that either. Because, law firms, lawyers don't exactly have the best reputation, and they really didn't, with my family. Again, another story, another time. But, the rest is history. After being a receptionist at a law firm and, really learning and growing from there, I've been part of this crazy legal industry now for over 23 years, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So, beginning aspirations, backup dancer for Janet Jackson. What I ended up being, you're seeing me here on YouTube. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a paralegal. I'm an innovator. I'm a creator. I'm a nerd, if I'm being honest. But full disclosure, you got it. That is Full Disclosure Friday. Now, if you have a question for me, I want you to let me know in the comments below or get on my website, shoot me an email. I don't care how you get those questions to me, but get them to me. I've got a few months of questions coming down the pipeline, and I may even answer more than one question on Full Disclosure Friday if time allots, because I don't want to take too much of your Friday. Speaking of, happy Friday. Thank you for joining me today in this video. Good luck to you and all that you do, because this crazy legal industry needs an amazing paralegal boss just like you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have an awesome weekend ahead of you, and I will see you guys back on the next one. Mwah. Bye, guys.